Hello, welcome to Twistgrip Tales, and have we got a tale for you? Look at this magnificent machine, but what is it? I'll tell you who's going to tell us. Aaron, my good friend, welcome to Twistgrip Tales.
How are you?
I'm well.
Very good.
Tell us, what is this machine, Aaron?
This bike is a Skyteam Ace, made in China, and it's based off a Honda.
So Honda made a GP bike back in the 60s. They made 5 cylinders, twin overhead cam. They made twin cylinder GP bikes.
Yep.
And this is an amazing styling recreation of that machine. And Honda actually made a road-going 50cc twin overhead cam version that looks a lot like this as well, back in the 1990s. What was that, a Bentley?
90s and through the 2000s, yep, a Honda Dream 50. Very limited.
And very expensive too.
Yep.
Now, these are Chinese-made machines, but the engine is essentially a copy of a Honda cg125.
Yep.
Which is... unlike the Honda GP bikes that were twin overhead cam, this is a pushrod 125. Now the engine is a faithful recreation of the CG. CG parts will go in it. Not an expensive bike to buy, but Aaron, yours is a bit special.
It's got some modifications.
And I would go so far out on a limb as to say that this might be the fastest road-going Skyteam Ace in Australia and possibly the world.
With the 125 motor.
There we go. But this has been modified. You've done a lot of work on this to make it go fast, because the standard engine, the cg125, rear wheel power is around about 6 horsepower. And I think the specification sheet says that the torque is not applicable, not much. And if too much power is not what you like, then you can also get this in a 50cc version.
Yep.
Which will not pull the skin off a rice pudding. I think that's the term.
Pretty much.
That's right. So if you go shopping on this and bring shopping home, you'll get home, no problems at all. 50cc, you might have to make a few trips to get your shopping home because it's maybe 2 horsepower or something. Faster on a bicycle, but same styling, great styling. And of course they run on the smell of an oily rag. So Aaron, tell us what you've done to upgrade this bike, besides the fact you've got this gorgeous fairing, which is not standard. You do not get a full fairing standard on the standard bike.
Okay, so I pretty much bought the bike brand new, and then I decided I'm going to modify it straight away.
First model?
It was one of the first ones in Victoria. It was a bit of a trial for the bike shop to see if you could sell them. And
when was that? Back in 2010?
It could have been around 2010 or 12. It was a fair while ago. I've had it for a long time. So I basically rode up and down the street and it wasn't what I wanted. So I decided, I'm going to pretty much modify it every way to make it what I wanted. So I started with a 150 big bore kit to start off with. So I put that in. I put a rev box in it.
Which is the CDI ignition
CDI
system?
rev box, yep, which is a Posh brand one.
Because the original CDI has got a rev limiter built in.
Yep.
And the modified CDI boxes have got no rev limiter.
Yep, it's pretty much rev it as much as you like.
So these will do about 10,000 RPM?
About 10.5.
1,000 RPM.
Yep.
And the big bore kit to make it a 150.
Yep. Straight slip in.
And because it's Chinese made, how much money are you looking for
Not a lot. It was about $89, I think, the first.
Australian.
Yeah,
so you're talking about $50 US or less than $100 Aussie to get a big bore kit. That's the barrel, piston and head.
Yep.
Unbelievable value for money.
And then I basically hand-made the exhaust. At the time I had a standard carburetor on it, and I pretty much dyno tuned it, and it made around 10.5 horsepower at the back wheel. And then I put the fairing on it, I had that made through a friend of mine, and then it was like that for a long time. And then I decided I'm going to go a little bit more radical with the motor, so I pulled it all apart again and ported the head properly, bigger valves. The head's been skimmed. Yeah. So
and
it makes a bit more power than it did before.
And you've got fair income shock absorbers.
So I've got proper shocks on there. The battery's been relocated in the back. What else? So it's basically the exhaust, the muffler. That's all aftermarket. I've lightweighted the whole bike. So all the chain guard, rear fender, horn, front indicators. It's light as possible. Light as possible.
So in a controlled environment like a racetrack, what sort of top speed can you get out of a standard machine?
Standard machine, you'd be lucky to do probably 90, 95 kilometres an hour.
And with this on the racetrack, probably now looking at
130, 135 maybe.
That's 80 miles an hour in real terms from a machine that weighs less than, well, around about 85 kilos?
Yep.
Less than
Very
85
light.
kilos? Very lightweight. I dare say that it's, in fact, lighter than a postie bike.
Yep.
It's a great machine. Now, there are something, the wheels are okay as they come standard. They're beautiful spoke wheels.
I've trued the wheels because they're way out of balance.
And they're and the rubber shock absorbers, the
cush
from the
drives,
sprocket.
the original cush drives, as we know, they're not really that flash. So it's got the genuine Honda units.
So Honda rubber in there to make that a bit more robust.
Decent chain on there. It's got decent sprockets. Got the
and front disc.
Yep, front disc is standard. It's got EBC pads and it's got a braided stainless line. Makes the front brakes pretty good. Some guys upgrade them. I don't really feel the need to. The shocks of the front forks have had the oil changed. Pretty much there's no spacers in them like most people do. I don't think you really need that. It's got some Ninja pegs on it off a Kawasaki. And all the airbox, everything's been stripped out. So all behind the panel here, it's all basically empty. It's got a flat slide carburetor on it, 28mm OKO.
And the standard carburetors on them are 20...
PZ 26, just a 26mm. So it's got the 28mm flat slide, which is pretty good on the street. I think it's about ballpark of what you need. It's got the Brazilian cam in there, in the motor. That was quite hard to source. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Ride's good. I've done about 7,000 Ks on it since new. I enjoy riding it.
And it's around about the same street performance as one of the, what do they call them? Honda
Grom,
Groms?
Grom?
Grom?
It's probably a little bit quicker than a standard Honda Grom. But yeah, it's pretty much up there with a Honda Grom with an exhaust and a tune and stuff.
And
it's quite nice to ride.
And the Brazilian cam, in Brazil, they race a class for the cg125. So Brazil has a very competitive go-kart and small capacity bike class, which is just this cg125. Although they don't race this bike, they race the Hondas. They don't have the Skyteam Ace over there, although I bet they would love to get their hands on something that looks as beautiful as this. What a great styling exercise.
It is. The idea of the bike was to make a vintage bike that you can ride on the road. It's reliable for everyday use. Looks vintage. And yeah, turns heads. People like it. Always get good comments.
It certainly does turn heads. And even with all these performance modifications, it rides quite slowly and is good in traffic.
It is very good. It's got enough power to cut the traffic and pull off the lights. Where before it was probably a little bit underpowered, but it's quite good now.
So now it'll get in front of cars and stay there.
Yep. You can go down the freeway, you'll sit on 100 kilometres an hour, no problem. No problem at all. From
a tiny little push rod 125. Now, one of our friends has raced one of these on the Salt Lakes, and it's not road registered, but he got to 90, just over 91, 92 miles an hour. and they're looking to go and crack the ton. But that engine has had a lot of work done on it, and I don't think it'll be all that good on the road. But you can squeeze a lot of power out of these tiny little bikes.
Yeah, they're a unique motor, single lobe cam, does the intake exhaust valve, so it's a bit primitive, but they seem to rev okay, and they do the job.
And the maintenance on it, so you just change the oil?
Very low maintenance, just change the oil, do the valve clearances, and that's pretty much it.
And the engine and gearbox oil is all in together?
Yep, it's all one, so it's very, very simple.
And because it's CDI ignition, that's set and forget. You don't have to worry about timing it at all.
Yep, there's no maintenance in the ignition, just basically ride it.
And buy a spark plug every 10 years.
Pretty much. Yes.
What great styling. Now, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, so it looks good. What does it sound like, Aaron?
It's pretty loud.
We'll start up. Hopefully it starts.
Let's start it up.
It's not.
We'll do the start up. We can push it.
Do you want me to ride it with the camp with this?
Yeah, with this on it. Yeah. And that is what a great motorcycle sounds like. And it's great that we've got private roads to be able to ride them on. This is not only a great looking machine, but a great sounding machine, and made in China. A beautiful copy of Honda race, GP race bike. Aaron?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for showing us off your project road race bike. It's a beautiful machine.
It is nice.
So don't forget to like and subscribe with more Twistgrip tales to come. Thanks for watching. Good on you, Aaron.
Thank you.